It was thought that if you wanted to get people to come this far, that you needed to make it extra special so that they would take the extra time and come here. So the stated goal when the theater was built was to let ordinary people feel like kings and queens for an hour.
I remember walking through here quite a bit as a kid and just automatically feeling nostalgic, imaginative, and curious.
So do I remember the first show that I saw here? Not really. I remember the space. I remember walking into the space and just looking up and just being amazed and just going, wow, wow, look at the chandelier. Whoa, look at that. The carpet was a bit of a wreck at the time because there were a lot of rock and roll shows that were in here then, and I don't think the remodel had taken place yet. But you couldn't miss just the beauty and the grandeur of the facility. It was amazing, really.
This was a downtown theater, but we were on the edges of downtown. The major roads and streets in Seattle were over at, 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, certainly not up at 9th. I didn't want something that was anachronistic. It wasn't important to me that it be preserved as a little jewel. It needed to be a part of the community. It needed to be working as part of the community.
The detail, the style, the cost, there'll be obviously great concert halls with great acoustics, but this kind of detail, this kind of feel, I wouldn't see anyone making it and replicating it. I was looking around and I was thinking, this could have been done 200 years ago, and this would have been time appropriate for 200 years ago with the Versailles detail, the fleur-de-lis, the tremendous detail. I don't see how you really could replicate it.
My son was 15 or 16 years old, I can't remember exactly. And I said, look in the paper, we'll go to any concert you want tonight, provided we can get tickets. And he said, it's the Violent Femmes at the Paramount. I said, okay. I got us tickets and we came to the Violent Femmes at the Paramount, and this place was as shabby as you could ever imagine, but it was so much fun, and people were having a ball.
Being on the stage at the Paramount is like nothing else. That excitement that comes when they say showtime, stage, places is extremely. Even more so what happens is the experience it gives to you.
Performing in the Paramount, the first time I performed there was 18 years ago. And that was, back then it was unbelievable to me that I could be in that theater on the stage. And it is a really huge house, so you feel the scope of it, and you feel the history of who all has been there because you see all their posters backstage. And it's also, the STG team there is so warm and so enthusiastic about dance and about art, and you feel that in the way that people bring you on and are really excited about your being there. Yeah, performing at the Paramount's very exciting.
For me, the Paramount has always seemed to be a place where you see these interesting Broadway shows and this maybe a link or connection to larger metropolitan cities, or maybe a sense of maybe bringing the world to Seattle.
I think the Paramount for since its inception has been a critical component to the arts because it's so big, it's so grand, it's sort of this visible, iconic structure that represents the arts. But I think the importance of that is paramount now, no pun intended, and it will be ever more so going forward because these cultural iconic institutions like that are going away, and this city's developing at a very fast rate. It's getting very modern in its orientation, and maintaining institutions the likes of the Paramount's critical because it demonstrates the lineage and the history of theater in the market, and in doing so, the importance of it. So I think there's a history lesson there to be learned, and we can't lose sight of that.
Ida, when she transferred the ownership of this theater to the nonprofit Seattle Theater Group, it was with an understanding that we were going to serve the whole community, truly be the people's theaters. So much so that she turned to me at one point and said, hey, every now and then I'm going to kind of really inspect and come around and make sure that there's enough kind of programming around that's really clear to me that this is for the whole community.
I mean, this is just an integral part of this community. It's one of the things that makes Seattle different from some other place, you know. It really is. It's, you know, your parks and your theaters and your, you know, your special architectural buildings and the history, something that makes you different from being, you know, a new suburb that's built. You know, this place has its own ghosts and its good bones, and it's seen more than any of us will see. And it's what makes Seattle, Seattle. I think people do understand that, even newcomers understand that this isn't just a cookie cutter, carbon copy place. This is a special place.